All right, good morning traders, and welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar with Bruce. I'll be your host here. We'll go through good morning traders, the markets in all markets in general here, but going through the order flow at a high detail so that we can understand and utilize order flow for our trading to give us an edge. All right, so risk disclosure, general disclosure, all Bookmap Ltd materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only, should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. The risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so jumping right into the order flow here. And looking at the S&P E-mini, look at the bid. Look at this just below 45.50 here. We just had some data at 10 a.m. consumer confidence, but look at the really strong bid here. This is great to see. Look at the reaction to that strong bid. So let's just kind of zoom out or kind of think bigger picture here. On the way down in this structure since before 5 a.m. here, East Coast time, and now it's just after 10, we see the market moving down, trading into high liquidity into a bid down in here in this area. And then the market opens here at 9:30, and look at the bid even before then, even before 9, pretty strong in here. And now we're seeing the reaction to that bid here. Okay, so where do you think price is going to go in general? Okay, this is not, any sort of like trade strategy or setup or anything like that, but just understanding order flow. Okay, well, we're looking for it to at least come back up and test into some of these highs here. Okay, the swing high here around 56, or maybe up here at 60. Okay, we want to understand not only the strong bid here, we want to understand the strong reaction to it, and that reaction would be buyers. Okay, and we're seeing that in here. Okay, so we've already come up to this little swing right here, looking for it to go up a little bit higher, and then up here at 60, and this liquidity up here looks pretty good. Okay, the market's already traded up there previously, so it can come back up here again as long as we find enough buyers. Okay, so it would break out of this area here. There's a lot of volume in this area here. Okay, so we're just looking for the test initially up to top of the range here. And that would be this range at this 56 and a quarter, 56 and a half, something like that. And just based off of the order flow we're reading in here now. Now we never know. But it's a strong move or reaction to this liquidity. Okay, so we're already getting a pullback here to where it just broke out from. This is where I would look for buyers to support it. We do see some here at 52, some liquidity, and it's not a whole lot though, but we're looking for our buyers now. Okay, so here we had a retest down here. We had sellers come in, went below this little swing. We have our high liquidity here. We had this retest here as well, and a little bit of selling. Okay, a little bit of selling again. Now we're looking for buyers here at 53 and a quarter. Look at the bid. Now we're looking for buyers to lift it up into this 54, 55 area. Okay. Well, they don't. They didn't come in at all. In fact, the sellers go right after this 52 liquidity. Interesting. All right, so we're still hanging in there with these buyers though. And what if we get a reaction like this? Buyers back up above this 52 and a half here now. Okay, that's the scenario we're looking for. So a green dot here. That's what we're looking for. And now this is the first scenario that we'll go through. That's what we're looking for on the buy side. The opposite scenario would be looking for sellers, and that's kind of an odd one. The sellers would have to come back down into here and we have to see some pretty strong selling to do that. Okay, but you know, we may, and if we do, we'll see it happen in here, right around this 51 3/4, and then we'd look for the move into previous swings here, but the liquidity is down here on that strong bid at 49. Okay, so two scenarios that we're looking for here. Okay. I want to mention, if you haven't already taken advantage of this, we have our Black Friday sale here. It's the last day of it. It runs November 23rd to the 28th. So if you are interested, then please sign up here. Click on Go Grab the Deal, and that'll take you to this page here. And there's two different deals to cover. Okay, one is for everybody, or monthly subscribers to Bookmap right now, free digital users or brand new to Bookmap. You can get Bookmap for 3 months at 50% off. All right, so this deal here on the left with the 50%, if you scroll down here, you'll see more details about it in here. All right, and then this one over here is if you're new to Bookmap. Now this one applies to new to Bookmap completely, digital free subscribers, or previously subscribed to Bookmap. You can get the 60% off for the first month only. Okay, so it's up to you. If you want to try it again, or you're brand new and you want to try it, go for the deal. This is your chance to save here. Like I said in the past few days, we get these questions all the time about, are there any specials? Well, now there are. All right, it's the last day of the special. Take advantage of it now and try Bookmap for 3 months, or if you qualify here for the first month discount of 60%, then scroll down a little bit further and then get that deal here. Right, so that's want to cover that and give it a shot. Right, now what had unfolded here in our scenarios? Well, it looks like a little bit of volatility in here. Actually, both kind of unfolded. Okay, so we can see we were looking for our buyers in here. We actually started to get them here. That move is rather muted. This is really kind of odd, to be honest. No follow through on that move. Very, very strange. Then we come back down below here and we do get our sellers. And then sellers again a little bit lower here. So we've come back down into these swings here. The high liquidity though is still down here between 48.5 and 49. Okay, so yeah, not seeing a whole lot of interest there yet, and it's really very choppy because due to this strong bid. And this strong move here in the volume, we're just looking for it to come up and test the highs of the day for this cash session, and we didn't even get that. Okay, so there's some selling interest in here is what it's telling us. Right, so yeah, don't be surprised that a lot of sellers will come in is basically what the order flow is telling us. Right, so anyway, we're back right to that same area here, and there's a lack of buying right now here. And let's see if we do get buyers. Okay, so we are getting our buyers now. All right. Well, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot, though. Okay, if we get a retest back up here and we see more buyers, we're also looking for that bid to support it. We'd look for the move back up into our 55, 56 areas. Weird order flow, really. Typically, this move, we'd look for this move to unfold, especially when we saw some on the bid right here. This is where it looked pretty good to me. Okay, and then we went through the scenario. Actually, we looked for it right in here due to that bid. and it didn't unfold. Really kind of odd behavior, to be honest. So market is very choppy, is what it's telling us. Let's continue to watch this here. All right, so now we've had an auction here a few times. I think now the buyers have it. We've auctioned here a few times, like here and here. Also got that move up into here. So now, since it has auctioned up here, okay, that scenario is more likely then that we can get the buyers up here and the move higher. Okay, so looking for it. Okay, now we're not getting too much out of the order book supporting underneath here. Okay, but if we do, then we're definitely looking for it. Well, it's much more probable that we'll get our move higher here. Okay, buyers, let's see it. Let's see it. You've got everyone on the run that's down here. So we are looking for this up into this 56 or 55, 56. Okay, so now this is where things get a little easier, I think, when reading order flow. Okay, so the reason that we were now looking for this to unfold in here, and why it was getting a little easier, was because we're reading and leaning on the previous activity in here that didn't make too much sense to us in terms of the order flow. And now we can identify the trap traders, though. Okay? And the trap traders are in here, and also in here, and a little bit in here. Okay? The red dots. Okay? Also in here. Okay, and now we know up here that we had the auction up here a couple of times on the buy side, is building on that auction in here, and we know we've got these guys on the ropes here, so they will need to cover. We do get our stop run here up into this area. Okay, so this is where it became easier in here. Does this make sense to everybody in reading this order flow? Right, because once we start to understand some of these elements in here in the previous behavior, the reading and the scenario for this to unfold to the upside becomes clearer, and that offers us an edge. Right, so let me know if you have any questions on this, and let me double check here in YouTube as well as in Discord. Okay, Paul, you're looking at spot gamma stuff in there and strong resistance. Yeah, I'm not following it. These are other confluences to take a look at. What we're reading first is the order flow, and then confluences can be added into the picture for your setup. Oh, okay. So take profit. You're talking about one of the features in here for the or one of the settings for stops and icebergs, and you want to look at the show stop runs only. Okay. So I mean, basically, what that means in here is the that you only want to look at the stop run details here. So for example, if we show stop runs on the on chart here, right, we're looking at in here, hold on, where is it? Not aggregated. Show only stop runs, right? Okay, so it should show, it actually should be showing here. So let me bring down the threshold though to 0. And let's not show icebergs. Oh, I'm sorry, it looks like I'm area here. Hold on a minute. All right, so in here, and I'm not showing any stops right now. Let's take a look here. Okay, so now we got our stop runs. Show stop runs only. It's the when we have this chain of events in here that we should see it in here. Okay, so maybe it didn't give us a stop run. No, it actually didn't. So that's why it's not displaying. Okay, so what we'll find an example in here for stop run only, it means that see how all of these stop runs are taking place on one level only. We're looking for when it is a book sweep. Okay, a lot of traders, they just want to look at the book sweep. They don't care about like a stop run for a small little area. They want to see when it was the area was swept in an event. Okay, so and this is really odd, to be honest. Like all of these are on one level. This is really odd. This should be here's a stop run. Okay, so this one here will show us well, it's only 2 levels, but this will display. Okay, so now if I enable stops here, hold on a minute. Oh, now I lost my place in here. Show stop runs only. Okay, so note that, see how it's not, it is showing it here. Okay, so this 287, if we look at other areas in here, all of these stops in here, they do not display because they're not like a chain of events that unfolded. These 287 are. Okay, does that make sense now? It has to be over at least 2 levels, and the stop run has to take place over those levels. That's how it works. Okay, so you can see that in today this filtered out quite a bit. Okay, that's not always the case, and especially here or here, this looked like a really nice stop run to me. This one too looks pretty nice here, right? But we don't see a chain of events, so that's actually kind of odd, to be honest. That's usually not the case when we're looking for our stops, that they're all on one price level. After all of this down in here and all this trap volume in here, we only we see a lot of stops triggered, but we don't see a chain of events in a stop run. Is odd. All right, anyway, let's go over. I mean, we did this direction did unfold here, and I think we identified the reasons why here. We were looking for it earlier. It didn't unfold. We came back down here, and then we came back up here again, and this is where we're looking for our breakout and the move up into 56, but also the swing up in here around this kind of 57-ish area, 56.5. Okay, and now that has unfolded. All right, so and that's the move we're looking for. right? So this is where you may consider reducing your risk or taking your profit. Okay, moving your stop up if you want, but on a day like today, I would not do that because it's already pretty choppy in here, and I'm just asking for responsive sellers to hit my stop back into the point of control here. Okay, so I was just looking for the exploration outside of the range here, and then see what happens next. Okay, I hope that makes sense for everybody. It's going through and understanding all of this behavior in here that gives us insight to the potential move here. Now, we thought that move was going to happen here, okay, because this was really strong bid. Reaction buyers. We did get the move up and above this little swing here, but we're looking for these bigger swings. Okay, and we got a pretty deep pullback here. But then we recognized that it is potential, the potential, we don't know, but the potential is here for these sellers in here to be buyers on the way back up. Right, so and then the move became easier, and we noted it in real time because it's not that difficult to read. Once we start to auction up here and we see it again in here, we're looking for the move to unfold. Okay, and this one we caught. We don't catch them all, but we had our reasons behind it, and then we manage our risk. Okay, so how do you manage your risk on this one? Well, maybe your stop is down below this swing. Maybe you're looking for this to work right away and your stop is just here. It has to work. Maybe it's just below the POC basically, because you're looking for this to move from the most traded level in here to the outside and explore these outer edges of the trading range. Okay, so if it doesn't work immediately, take the small loss, look for it again, and you can see here this, if you got in here in one of these areas in here, it didn't go a tick against you, right? And you would have reduced your risk on the way up, most likely. All right, so just some ideas for developing your trading strategy. This is what you need to go back and look at and retest and find something that works for you. Now, we have a checklist to go through, and we also have this continuation pattern, flag pattern to go over. Now, this is kind of a variation of a continuation move. I mean, this was really choppy in here. Okay, but we're looking for this move in here, and we're looking for a continuation, and we didn't get it, and this became very confusing in here. Then it started to unfold in here. Okay, so we were looking for that continuation at that point, and we can still look for it here, but now we got to come back and reassess this behavior in here, and how does this look for continuation to further outer edges here. Right, so I hope this makes sense in here, and reading order flow and starting to develop scenarios on where price might go based off of this information. Okay. So Paul, for example, instead of looking at a high volume node as being kind of a magnet for price to return to, you are looking at a gamma level on the chart, okay, from options trading, and then that being kind of a magnet to keep price in that area, and you set around 55. So yeah, it is just kind of, it's up there at that 55 level, and it's kind of exploring even further now. So in your trading plan, what you would be looking for is for it to pull away from this 55 level in here. You've got to have some pretty strong buy volume in here. All right, so you're looking for that scenario, because if it is going to move away from your 55 level here, it's got to move away on strong volume, okay, because this is magnetic here for it. according to the way that you trade. Okay, so in the order flow, what you're looking for, ultimately what you're looking for, would be a strong bid underneath here, high liquidity underneath here. This liquidity up here would be pulling away from the market. This liquidity up here, maybe it remains, maybe some of it pulls in this area here and pulls up here as well. Then what you're looking for is up at the top of these ranges in here. Well, the bottom of the range is either looking for it to trade into this high liquidity in here and get totally absorbed by these buyers, or you're looking for it not to test here and to exhaust out. There's no sellers, no red dots. Okay, and then what you're looking for is buyers to come in. Okay, so they would probably start around here, and you look for these big green dots in here, and they have to be big and they have to be green. That's when you're looking for it to pull away from this area here of your spot gamma level of 55. Okay, if you get that in your scenario, it is more likely to trade up into these areas. All right, so that's how you can use your levels together with order flow. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So so you're going through your scenarios there of how the dealers might respond, etc. So there you go. So look for the order flow to support some of these concepts in options trading, and this is how you can really build a nice edge. You might want to attend Doug's webinar also. It's on daily at I think Doug's on at 1:30. Is he? Let's double check here. Yeah, you can go here to the More button, the Learning Center from bookmap.com, and then go down to the events here. Okay, so Tuesday, and options with Doug's at 1:30, daily at 1:30, so for an hour. Yeah, he uses spot gamma as well as order flow in Bookmap. All right. All right, so what have we seen so far? Well, not much really, to be honest. Like it is just hacking around this whole area in here. We can look at market structure in here as well, very clearly. Here's market structure. Here's market structure. And now let's read within this market structure here, this back and forth in here. What does the volume look like? What does the order book look like? Okay, historically, they started to come in here just at the peak of this structure, and you can see some limit sell orders in here, and just a little coming in right now. Okay, what does the bid look like? Okay, well, there's just kind of these shades of blue in these areas in here. It could be building though. You know, we're seeing a little bit more and a little bit more. Okay, so maybe the people are starting to think that this is you know, pretty good value, and they are willing to be buyers a little bit lower in these areas here. Okay, what about the volume? What is the volume telling us in this range in here? It's pretty choppy. Volume is not too distinct at all. Okay, so you know, we saw the strong move out outside of the range, and then it continued on up in here. But you know, if we look at the delta bars down here, and we look at the delta dots here on the chart, it's really mixed. So we don't really have too much of an edge in there by looking at the volume within this price range. Right, so it's pretty equal. Now, if you guys want to use your volume, you can use cumulative volume delta. You can use your volume and balance indicators up here as well. and zoom by drag in here, and we'll just zoom into, hold on, we'll zoom into this area here to current market. And now that's within our viewable range, and we can look at the volume and order book and balances up here. You can see it's pretty balanced by volume. Okay, order book is showing more on the offer due to this liquidity up in here. Right, so that's another way of looking at it and trying to ascertain who's in control and volume-wise in this price structure. Okay, another way we can use also CVD to take a look at, and let's just take the stops and icebergs off for a minute. Okay, so in this whole range in here, yeah, actually it looks like a little bit more selling than buying. Okay, because here's where it broke out from. So we can kind of look at this range in here, and we see a bit more selling coming in here. Yeah, in fact, this move back up in here, some really nice divergence in cumulative volume delta. Okay, now absolutely not a trade recommendation at all on cumulative volume delta. This is very just understand what your indicators do and understand what you're looking for, and go through a scenario if you use cumulative volume delta, because this can be really dangerous in here. We're back up here to the high, and yet there's less buying volume. Okay, a way a lot of traders look at that is they're looking for the sellers to curl in here and then take this down. Okay, however, it is also true that that's where you can get your hold on, that's where you can get your trap volume in here, right? And your trap sellers, all you have to do is get back up here and get buyers, and this cumulative volume delta gave you a poor reading, all right, for divergence. Okay, in this case the divergence is paying out. You can see that those sellers did curl in here, right? They did curl in. All right, so now we're looking for a move lower here. Okay, so it's already at the bottom of the range here. We're still looking, though, there's some good momentum here, so looking for maybe well, we have 53 as our high volume node, but maybe a little bit lower here around this swing here, around maybe 51.5 or so, somewhere around there. Okay, understood. So we're looking, we had our reasons for the breakout, now we have a reasons also for a breakdown. And the volume looks pretty good on the sell side, so still looking for it to go to the downside here. Okay, a bit of a pullback, still more selling in this area though. And let's see if we can get our sellers again in here, and then the move lower, 52. And quite a bit of buying just popping in here. Okay, it's making it more convoluted, but still looking for our sellers to try to upend these new buyers that are just coming in here. See, these buyers are trying to trade it back into the range here. That's the battle that's unfolding here. So who's going to get it right? Who's going to get it wrong? Okay, let's see if we can get these sellers or these buyers here upended. Let's see. Nope. Buyers back up here again, top of the range, of this little range. No insights right now due to this buying that's coming in here. Okay, just looking for the sellers to take it down here, and then this would be the trap volume. Okay, so all right, well, we can see what unfolded here. The buyers are able to take it back up here. Okay, now the trap volume is this selling in here. Okay, so we're not only we're looking for this to continue now to the upside. The momentum is strong here, looking for our 60 level. Okay, this happened and unfolded rather quickly. This is why we go through the two different scenarios in here, and one or the other is going to win in this battle in here, and we can see it now, right? And now in hindsight it's really easy, but we're looking for it in real time, and trying to understand and gauge what's happening in this little battle area here. Okay, we know once we get the buyers in here, then we're looking for our move higher here. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky with your trading. We had our cumulative volume delta, we had the top of the range, we see our sellers come in, we were looking for the move back down. We thought 52 looked pretty good. Our liquidity down in this area here. Okay, once you get the buyers back in here, now it is the sellers on the hook here. Okay, and then this kind of move can unfold here. Right, pretty strong buying at this point, and really nice move here. Anyway, we'd have to be really quick on that, and once you, I mean, this is where a lot of traders, like if they do get it wrong, they'll reverse, get back in, and they're looking, and they see that strong volume in here. That's when you're looking for it to continue. Okay, and it's hard because you're looking for one thing here to unfold, and then you might have to kind of exit that and jump back in and look for the opposite scenario to unfold. Okay, but nonetheless, the order flow was telling us here in real time. Okay, we mentioned it in here somewhere around this kind of 56.5 or so. That 60 is looking pretty good at this point, and it's gone higher. It's gone to 63. A pretty strong move. And we're going to see some really nice stop runs as well. Yeah, here, and then nice one in here. Yeah, trading for a living, choppy and dangerous. But once we start to see one of the scenarios to start to unfold, then you know, look for it and reduce the risk. Yeah, I do have gold up. We can take a look at gold for the Z contract. Gold 2, also strong move here, looking for the continuation. 33, 20, 33 looks pretty good. Not the kind of strong move where this is nice in here. Really not a whole lot of buying in here right now. So buyers have got to get back up above this 31.50 area here. If we can get that, then the 33 looks pretty good. Okay, let's see if we get that. And let's look for the squeeze up into 33 here. Yeah, see, look at sellers fighting it still on the way up. It's not looking good for them, right? It's just not a good scenario here. They're selling more, and they're just getting squeezed. Okay. What a lot of times what we see though on these kinds of moves in the order flow is this kind of behavior right here. See this large seller that came in? Okay. They'll come in, you know, maybe up in one of these areas here, and they've had enough, and they'll sell hard. Okay, and then that will disrupt the order flow in here. Okay, and you'll see this really quick jaunt back down into these lower areas here. Yep, you're welcome. Gold is rolling over to the February contract right now. Okay, yep, thanks. Let's open that one. Fact. Thanks, Eloise. Interesting move in here. Like if it's rolling over, then look at the rollover here, guys. Look at this. Look at all that liquidity in here. People want to exit. This is interesting. And you don't see that in here on the February contract. You see the high liquidity up here. So there's, boy, for any of you guys that like to spread trade between calendar spread trade on rollover, there's some pretty nice things to take a look at and consider. Yeah, they're just not even want to take this on up here. This kind of big, huge block of liquidity in here. All right, guys. Well, we haven't even taken a look at the higher time frame chart. Not even yesterday, Monday and Tuesday. Typically, we look at it on Monday, and get a sense of the same ideas and concepts here in the order flow, but on a much higher time frame. We talked about the first principles yesterday or Friday in Friday's webinar, because it was a half day. Markets open for only half a day, and we were covering just understanding these markets from the first principles of understanding what makes the market move, and what is the market made up of, why does price move, etc. So it's about the orders. It is about the order flow that we want to understand, and that works on not only these small time frames at the most binary level between someone wanting to buy and someone providing liquidity by selling to that buyer, but also on the highest time frames. It is the same process. It's just a lot more data. Okay, so we can look at our candlestick chart. Here on the left is the daily, and then the hourly in the center, and then on the right hand side we have our 15-minute. Right, so here's our interesting move here in the S&P, this breakout on the 15-minute chart, and we can, not only do we fill the gap here, we've come up to the top of the range in here. Now, the same idea that we were looking at earlier in the S&P on smaller time frames, top of the ranges, looking for some profit taking, looking for sellers up in these areas for just a bit. This is a really strong move here. Okay, maybe we just get a mild pullback, and maybe we come back in and we find more buyers willing to take this higher. Okay, and that's what we will determine in the order flow in here. Okay, because yeah, hourly looks pretty good too. You can see it very nicely came up into this kind of range up in here, and then we're getting a little bit of a sell-off here, a little bit of pause. But bigger picture is, look at the momentum here in this daily chart, also the hourly, and 15 minutes not really telling us that, but the daily looks pretty good, and we know what this is made up of in here. Okay, well, fundamentally, we had FOMC, we had non-farm, we had CPI data here on this candle from a couple of weeks ago. So some really bullish data, and therefore we've tested up in the top of these ranges here. Okay, and now we're trying to read and understand the daily in here, where it might be going next, and it's been kind of choppy. Okay, so we can even read the strong move, chop in here, strong move, some chop, another move up, but it hasn't been like one of these strong breakout moves here. Okay, so we're looking for the potential for that strong move again. However, we can see that things are slowing down here. Okay, so maybe, you know, we're looking for kind of a choppy environment for a bit, and maybe on the hourly we come back up and test some of these swings up in here before we get any sort of strong breakout move. Well, I mean, ES01, if you're looking for a trade calling room in here, our recommendations, this is not the right place. What we will go through is the order flow, and so that you can understand where you might think is a good zone for you know, you to buy gold or to sell gold. Okay, so we are covering those things in here, but it's not going to be a trade call out or a recommendation. Okay, we'll just read the order flow very objectively. All right, Discord guys, I'm sorry I haven't spent much time over there. Let me jump back and see how things are going. See, Rob, you're talking about some yeah, looking at your checklist should be helping you quite a bit, Rob, I imagine, which is great. Yeah, absolutely slow down. The checklist is something that will help you stay away from a lot of mediocre trades or bad trades. You know that, and that's a really important point. And what everyone's talking about here is this checklist. If you go here to studies configuration or in configure add-ons, there's the checklist here, setups checklist. Now this is only available to you guys right now, and in the Bookmap Academy. Okay, that's the only way you can get access to this right now. It's not public. Right? So anyway, I can show you where you can find it in the Bookmap Academy, and only Academy members have access to this. But so you know, if you're interested, join the Bookmap Academy, and you know, you can get access to this checklist as well as Market Pulse and others. Trader Map Pro is going to be the next thing. All right, so just scroll up here and in the education library here, go to Bookmap Academy, and you'll see the checklist here. Click on it here, and you'll find the download link or Market Pulse as well. Click on here, and you can download it as well. In fact, I wanted to go through the Market Pulse stuff with you guys today. So let me continue on with the questions, and then I'll get to Market Pulse. Nice, Stan. Got the Trader Map Pro going. Excellent. Rob, it sounds like it's starting to resonate with you, some of these, looking at some of your concepts in here. Or I'm sorry, some of your setups in here. which is great. So Rob, look at this one in here. Strong move, shallow pullback. Do we get our strong move again in here? Do we have high liquidity at this higher level in here? Absorbing? Not so much absorbing in here. In fact, Rob, I would say like for this flag pattern, okay, and what we're looking for, now this is kind of a bigger picture flag pattern in here, potentially, which makes it a little more convoluted as well, because a lot more can happen in there. You know, maybe it comes down and gets filled in these areas down in here before moving back up. Okay, but consider this, like the default for this setups checklist is a flag pattern. That's what you're looking at in here. This is derived from the Learning Center on Bookmap. So if you go to bookmap.com, and then you click on the More button and you go to the Learning Center here, and then you go to Strategies and Setups course here, and the flag pattern in here. It is based off of, well, it's the third video here. This checklist is duplicated over here in this app, and then you can grade it and whatever you're looking for in here. You got your check boxes, etc. All right, so now this is what I want to cover in here. So identify trap traders and develop scenarios on where price might go for the first impulse move. Then you're looking for that impulse move. On that impulse move, you're looking for a steep, large price movement with strong relative volume that pulling that market. Okay, and then you're looking for where the potential next measured move might come, and absorption of high liquidity. I'm sorry, where that measured move might go and absorption by high liquidity on the opposite side. So that would be this area in here and this area in here. Okay, high liquidity, right? So see how this, like what I'm about to cover in here, would have kept you out of this as a potential continuation pattern here. What I want to cover is the minor pullback in here, and then this bidding liquidity here. So because you're looking for liquidity to bid up, or you're looking for exhaustion. Okay, and this is what I wanted to cover. The same concept in here of understanding trap volume down in here, like we covered. Okay, on your flag pattern, on the pullback, also look for that. So where would the sellers be trapped in here? Well, it's starting to develop now. Okay, so maybe this is the sellers trapped in here. Maybe this in here. Okay, so what do we look for then? In maybe above this little area here, this is where we can look for really big buying to now lift that market again higher, and we have trap traders that will help fuel the move to the upside, this continuation move. So on your flag pattern, on your small pullback in here, you can look for that. Okay, identify again the trap traders. Okay, so it's basically the same concept, but now you're looking for that again, and look, here come our buyers, right? So now we're looking for maybe a stronger bid underneath here, bidding up. Okay, on the bid with higher liquidity here, and we want to see some of this liquidity starting to pull up in here. Okay, we're not getting that yet. We're not there. Okay, let's see if we get it here. Let's clear our drawings here for a minute. Okay, so we're looking for the bid here, looking for our buyers, and there's a little bit on the bid. It's not much, but we have a nice trap in here with these sellers in here, just looking for our buyers. Here we go. Okay, so let's see now, buyers, if you should be able to take this a bit higher here. Okay, we need to see a bit more buying here, and I think we can get our move here. Okay, if not, we'll probably trade right back down to about this area in here, and a lot of times we see that on this kind of move here. So a chop back into kind of this little range, or maybe high volume node here, before we get enough buyers to break out. Okay, so anyway, the point is though is to look again for that the trap buyers or sellers, and in this case these would be the trap sellers here. Okay, whereas in here we didn't have that necessarily. Maybe a little bit in here, maybe a bit, okay, but not enough. And we have to pull back further. Note the pullback as well. See this cluster in here and this little back and forth before this another extended move here. And that's where we came to. Okay, you can look for these things in structure in the order flow, and high liquidity getting filled through that area here, retracement back into this area here, and then identifying who maybe got it wrong here. Now looking for buyers to sweep it higher here, and these sellers in here having to cover on the way up. Right, so this is the same concept that we talked about in the flag pattern in these videos here, by identifying the trapped buyers and sellers, okay, that we see, yeah, in these little areas in here, in the consolidation here. All right. They got to chew through this 66 1/4 liquidity here, and I see a pretty empty bid right now, so sellers can bring it right back down to this kind of 64-ish area here. So it's not ready yet. Order flow is telling us that. Okay, look at the offer, look at the reaction to the offer, you know, looking for just a quick move down into here. All right, let me get back to some questions. Caddy, which is more important to watch, bubbles or liquidity? It's both. It's the context between them that you want to understand. It's that relationship between them, which is literally the relationship between buyers and sellers. It's passive buyers on the bid with limit buy orders, or passive sellers on the offer with limit sell orders. Okay, the buyers in this case are down in this area here, the sellers are up in here. Okay, the reaction to this liquidity in here is what we want to understand. So, you know, you can see like high liquidity coming in right now, and what are we finding? Buyers, they're pulling here. They're still kind of bidding up underneath here. So now we're looking for buyers here right now, and maybe they can trade up into here, right? That is the context we want to understand. Okay, it's the relationship to the orders here. So they're both important. It is the context, though, that is the king. And, you know, we were looking for it. These guys, see how they're staying in the order book here, though, and not enough buyers are trading into it. So, you know, it's not ready yet. We're not looking for this to unfold immediately now, based off of the reaction in here. Now, it still may, you know, we still may get just a ton of buying pressure all of a sudden. We don't know. But we can see that there's a lot of selling up here, kind of a wall of sellers in here. Well, we need to find a ton of buyers that overrun all these sellers in here. And I don't see it yet, right? So we're not really looking for it right now. So this behavior here, and then maybe trading down to this liquidity here makes sense. Previously, they're pulling here, they're adding here, we're finding buyers, we're looking for it to test up into here. Now we're not, okay? And then you can see we've already moved down here. Okay, it's the same idea on all time frames. And when we zoom out, same idea. That's why we started off this webinar is look at this strong bid in here. Okay, and it was at 10 a.m. And we started the webinar in here. We saw a strong bid. They're pulling in these areas here, and we're finding buyers. Yeah, we're looking for it to come up at least to here at 56 and test this swing here at the 9:30 cash open, and then the next area would be up here around this 60-ish area, okay, because that's where the liquidity is, right? And it took a while. I thought we'd get it here. I really did. We had to pull back. We had to pull back deep, and then we read this in here, and this is where we read the trap of the sellers in here, and this is where we read the buyers, and this is where we're looking for it to test here and potentially higher. Okay, so it's just reading that in here, that, and then finally identifying the pieces of the puzzle in here for that move. Okay, and then in here, well, we got a little trapped in cumulative volume delta and looking for the move lower, which did unfold. I thought we'd get a move into here, 52. We didn't. The buyers circled back in. They started to show a lot of buying pressure, and then that's when we're looking for our 60 level. Okay, so that was a little tricky. And then right now, well, again, we covered another strong move in here, okay, and then shallow pullback, but just not enough trapped volume in here, not enough like you know, it's a shallow pullback. That's good, but didn't really have a lot on the bid and a lot of absorption on the bid. So this move is not shocking. And in fact, we're kind of looking for it, and then we're looking for the potential of upending these guys that sold, and then looking for the move to the upside here again, okay, which is now starting to unfold as well. So our buyers did take these guys on here. Okay, so do they still have more buying pressure? I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing sellers. Okay, so sellers will probably move it back down to about 66, and we can look at maybe another structure in here. Okay, you know, something like this. Okay, bid looks good actually here. This is new news here. Okay, and he's starting to pull actually, so be careful on this. All right, so yeah, still just looking at that context, caddy up in here, right? We're finding some pressure, but and buyers did take these limit sell orders on. Here they are again coming back. Well, all right, so they have enough here to trade into and through all of this liquidity. That's a lot, right? And they're right here at 67 and 3/4. Some transactions just took place. Okay, so not enough. All right, so looks like a rotation lower. So I'm still looking for a 66 level here, to be honest. Not enough buyers up in here. Okay, so we're looking for sellers to try to trade it back. maybe even like 65 and a quarter or a half, and then maybe a retest back up here and more buying pressure after it's traded back down here. Okay? I mean, that's what we're reading right now. Okay? We're not seeing enough buying pressure to take this on and trade into and through all of this. Okay, so now our sellers are, maybe mean reversion traders, or back down into some sort of structural mean area here. In this case, this would be your high volume node. Okay, maybe to the other side of the range, maybe down into this swing here. Right, shake out a lot of the buyers up in here that are stuck. All right, guys. Well, I want to go over a couple more things in here. We've been going over the Market Pulse tool a lot, and have developed some really nice scenarios out of that, very worthy of studies. Traders like Slowdown, Jack, Crash F16 especially, have been really utilizing this tool to their advantage. I want to go through more because there's a lot more to go through with this tool. In fact, let me add absorption and sweeps in here, and on the S&P, and then we'll cover some more on a minute as well. Let's put it into automatic mode. Okay. All right, guys. So is it surprising that we moved down here? Okay, because we couldn't chew through this liquidity and we didn't find enough buying pressure. Right. So in fact, the sellers took it to the opposite side of the range here. Okay, maybe they still have more selling pressure to take it further. Okay, we'll find out. Guys, is this making sense? Understanding the order flow and some of these edges in here, looking at structure. I mean, trying to keep it really simple. It doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be this really convoluted math problem. It's really just simple supply and demand that we're understanding. It doesn't have to be this beautiful pattern or anything like that. Is the buying in here couldn't trade through this area here. Look for sellers, look for where it might go to trade with buyers on the bid. Yeah, let me know. I'd love to get your insights or feedback here. All right. So now we've traded into this area. Now we can match this up with the swing down here, right here. This little kind of move away from here. And this is actually where we thought the trap sellers would be, right in through here. And we did see that, and the move back up in here. And now we're still looking for that move to go higher in here. We traded into this here. We got the pullback. And then we're still, though, looking for that pressure, that buying pressure to move this higher. And then in here, we just didn't see it. That would tangle with this liquidity in here. So we look for this move back down. Now I'm looking for another retest back up here to this 67.5. But just kind of recapping some of the things we were looking at and some of the moves we were potential moves that we're looking for. Let's see. Right. With Market Pulse, what I wanted to cover in here, and I had to add sweeps and absorption. The other tools in here, which all of you guys, I know there's been some issues you've had with Market Pulse yesterday. Those should all be cleared up now. Okay, so just go again to that Discord channel and in here into that library, and you can download it here. Now, guys, if you want to download this and get free access to Market Pulse, you got to be in the Bookmap Academy for it. That's just how it is right now. You get access to these tools before others do. All right, so you can play around with it and try to develop an edge for it here. Yeah, so Stephen, you've been playing around with the Market Pulse as well. Anyway, you'll see it here, Bookmap Academy, under the education library. Click on this, and then here is these links they're still valid. Okay, so this is to the beta here for Market Pulse, as well as the beta here for the checklist, setups checklist. Right, so and the new the stops, or I'm sorry, the sweeps and absorption, if you want to look at that with Market Pulse, you can do it now. No problem with all the links that are in there. Just use the current absorption and sweeps. You'll see it here when you go to manage add-ons. And you'll see it in here if it's available for installation, and just install it, and you're good to go. All right. Anyway, let's go over and let's just get rid of some of these, recreate a new one here. We'll look at the S&P, and we'll go through absorption first. Absorption imbalance, let's do that one. And now I've got to select my instrument here. Let's click on it here. I'll select the S&P and then deselect Apple. This will work on stocks as well as crypto. Okay, and then let's bring the volume down and let's click play. And what this will show us here is the imbalance of the absorption indicator. This is an indicator working upon an indicator. This is what we call broadcast API. So the API from the absorption indicator we're getting a reading off of that here in Market Pulse. So you can control your Market Pulse based off of the absorption indicator, right? And it's going to spit out the readings here in the sub chart. Now, the way to use this tool and understand use case scenarios in here is by back testing it. Okay, so look at the outputs we're getting here, where we get extreme readings on the buy side here of absorption, and on the sell side hold on, it's reloading here, and the sell side here. Okay, so we had buy absorption here, not bad, not a bad reading in here, or output. Okay, so it actually pulled back, and you can see absorption of 215 contracts on this pullback in here. This actually gave some really good insight. Okay, so they're buying here on the bid is being absorbed here, 215 contracts in a very, very short time frame. And then we see buyers up in here. That's where we're looking for this to move. Okay, so look for those things. Here we have not only we see order book sweep and absorption here on the buy side, right at the bottom here. Well, that's perfect timing. Okay, so looking for buyers to curl back in and take it back up to the top of the range. Okay, and then we see it would be great if we saw some sellers up here on this one here. We don't. You could probably get it if you play with the settings a bit. This is a bit, you can see we're getting very few outputs here. So you'd have to play around with your either your Market Pulse setting here or your absorption indicator setting. So in fact, we can lower the training period here, and we're going to get more outputs in Market Pulse for absorption. No, I'm sorry, we won't. because it's going to be based off of the absorption indicator. So yeah, we got to go to the absorption indicator first. Okay, so let's go back there, and we will need to go to the absorption indicator here. And then we have it on automatic right now. It's on quite a few, but let's just take down the multiplier here, and we're going to get a lot more output now. Okay, and now you can see how the broadcast API is working here. Okay, we have a lot more output here, and now Market Pulse has a lot more outputs as well. Okay, so look at this move up here, no absorption. All right, well, did we have absorption in these areas down in here? Yeah. Do we have it here? No. I would have loved to have seen it here, because if we do, I'm looking, see how we're up here again? We talked about this. It auctioned up here. There wasn't enough to chew through it. Now there potentially is. Okay, maybe it needs one more little rotation and then a breakout here. Okay, but it is auctioning again. There is still buying pressure here. Okay, so it's getting ready. It's getting ready for breaking out here. All right, and we don't see high absorption up in here. Well, that's pretty odd. Okay, so well, if we don't, then we have the potential for the breakout here. Whereas we did get high absorption reading here, actually on the bid. That's pretty weird. All right, let's see it, buyers. Let's see the bid. I want to see that bid come in. I don't want to see this on the offer. See, I don't want to see that. We want to see like buyers on the bid, and these guys on the offer say, well, okay, actually, I don't want to sell now up here. We want to see them pull it away from the market, and we want to see them pull away and add higher, and then we're looking for maybe 45.70 here. Okay, let's see if we get a flip of the order book here. They're on the offer here. Now we're looking for them to pull, flip to the bid side, get our buyers in here, and get our breakout up into 70 or maybe 71 here. Okay, high liquidity up at 71. Okay, the bid is adding a little bit here. The offer is up higher though, so that's good. Let's see it, buyers. Start buying, and we should be able to lift the offer up into these areas here. No, the sellers came back in, and now the buyers are pulling here. So we're getting kind of this is turning into a battleground here. Now it's also the European close is coming up. So we're probably going to see a little bit of back and forth in here. Even in this European close, I'm still looking for these buyers actually I'm looking for this scenario as being more likely to trade up into this liquidity here. So still looking for that scenario, even in confronting the European close here. Just seems like there's more buying pressure. They can continue to auction off up here, and they continue to be here on the offer, accepting the other side of the trade, but just looking for more and more buyers and want to see these guys pull now on the offer. There they go. Okay, buyers, you've got it here. You've got the bid, they're pulling, you've got buyers. Let's see the book sweep. Okay, well, that was short-lived. Look for maybe another rotation back up though. Okay, was looking pretty good in here. And would have been better to see this book flip. We didn't get the book flip, but you know, we're getting another rotation right back up here. Okay, for buyers here, and still looking for it. Still looking for it. They're still auctioning off up here, and yeah, just want to see this pressure up in here. There, see now. Look at the bid now. See the bid. See our buyers. See them pull here. This looks better. So we're looking for our 70 and 71. Okay, this was actually a pretty good example in real time, guys. Like because we talk about it all the time. That looking for that book. Boy, it looked better in real time as well. It's hard to kind of show here. Once we okay, so we were looking for it here. Oh, God, where can I find it? Yeah, we're looking for it actually in here. Then some back and forth. Looking for it here, looking great. Didn't get it. Rotation right back in the bid. Now we have a strong bid. This is something to lean on. They're pulling on the offer as well, and we're getting our buyers here. That's when we have something to lean on as something more probable to as an outcome to the move higher. Okay, I hope that helps. We saw it in real time. You guys have the recording of this, so we can go back and study it. But this is where reading that order flow can help you. Okay, and you know, understand some of these moves and why they might unfold or be more likely to unfold. Okay, we also covered in here, we covered several moves today, and we also covered some of the market pulls here for the absorption. In this case, absorption imbalance. We can also add the just absorption in general in market pulse in here. There's another one, okay, which is not imbalance here. It's the one up here, and then we'll press play. Okay, so here we're going to get our output. And it will show buyers and sellers in here. Yeah, there we go. So it's spitting out two lines. It looks like it's similar, but there's actually two lines in here. You know, one on the buy side, one on the sell side. You can see it in here in the settings, right in here, the buyers and sellers percentage. Okay, we just had high absorption up here. Now that makes total sense that we should see high absorption in here because there's high liquidity in there. Okay, so anyway, two different outputs here, absorption pressure imbalance as well. We'll cover the sweeps on Friday. And one more thing though on Market Pulse, I do want to show you guys. Okay, so let's actually take the absorption sweeps off. And this is important because I think you'll find it really helpful here. Is by looking at, we'll create a new one here and we'll look at, let's just say volume pressure imbalance. And note here, on the we selected our algo here, and then here we'll select our instrument. Note that RTY is selected here, right? Well, let's actually select more than that. Well, we don't want RTY selected. Let's actually deselect it and select the ES here. Okay, so now it's just for the ES, right? We're going to get our volume pressure in here, right? So here's volume pressure for the ES, and here it is in Market Pulse. right? So if it goes above here, this was buying pressure, this is selling pressure below the threshold here of 70%, whereas red and 70% on where there were more buyers here crossing the threshold. What we want to cover is the multiple markets or instruments we can select. This is really great. So let's suppose we want to look at volume pressure of the NASDAQ, the Russell, and the ES. We can do that, and now it's reloading it here, okay? And it's selected now these three instruments here, and is outputting it as one kind of synthetic instrument, market pulse instrument here. So if you're looking for your extreme values now, and you're seeing it across three different instruments, well, maybe that's a good place to take some profit then. This is something to take a look at and back study again, back test. Like, look for where you're getting these extreme values, and can you fit this into your strategy or your test, through your testing here. This this feature here of multiple markets works not only on volume pressure. Hold on a minute. This is a little loud. Okay, we're hearing volume pressure again, okay, on the buy side. Okay, now let's take a look at this here. Okay, volume pressure on the buy side, three different futures markets here, stock indexes, but into high liquidity. Okay, if I get it now though, and I hear it now, that's a little bit better than into high liquidity. Then I would look for another continuation and sweep into 71 and 72 and a quarter. There we go. There's a nice book flip, guys, right there. See that? And a stop run as well. Okay, again, for me, this is telling me that this is maybe a good idea to take some profit up here. Okay, because we have a stop run, we have extreme market volume pressure, and it's across three different instruments. Okay, now market continued higher here. Okay, but there's at least reasoning for managing your trade that way. Okay, so and then look for other opportunities in here. Anyway, I just wanted to show this feature with the three different, or you can put in multiple markets in here for volume pressure, also for order book pressure. You can do the same here. We'll go to order book pressure and balance, and we'll continue to stick with three different markets, and you'll see we'll get an output on that. This is reading the order book pressure now, and not the volume pressure. So the other side of the trade. All right. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to take some time to cover this with you guys because this is something that we are playing around with. We are finding new use case scenarios with this as well, and get it in your hands, see what you guys think, and give us some feedback, and develop some strategies out of this. All the tools are here. It's like giving you clay or something. So make your sculpture out of it, basically. So you'll find what works best for you. Jack, Slowdown, Crash F16, and others have already done this to a pretty high degree. They're looking for something very specific from their market pulse outputs. Okay, and that's it's really nice thing to kind of pass on to you guys, so that you get free access to this and to play around with it before others do. Beautiful. Yeah, look at this example here. Here's Crash's example here. Okay. Volume, pressure, imbalance down into this lower level here. This is the pullback that we were just looking at, and then we were looking for our buyers in here. Now we covered in our or Crash covered his set, or the way that he works with his setup with this tool. So he's actually looking for extreme readings, and he's actually getting in a very small leg down here, and then legging into it more as he's looking for this continuation move. Okay, that's his way of managing the trade, which is really nice, because at that point, your risk is very minimal down in here. You don't have any. Well, his only reason is it's in an uptrend, and this is a severe pullback, which is good. There's also liquidity in here, which is good. But we don't know how much selling pressure is here. That's why he's only getting in one contract, or maybe a few contracts here, and then getting in a lot more and leveraging it once he sees the direction here. Right, so a really nice way of trading, and that's what's working for him. Right, so yeah, I would encourage you guys to play around. You get free access to it, so play around with it and try to find something that works for you in your trading, and we're giving you the tools to do it. Right, so put them to use is my encouragement. All right, guys, well, let's wrap it up. Thanks everybody for coming. Hit the like button if you like this kind of content. We'll go over more and more, and we'll meet up on Friday. Tomorrow we have Jay Trader. He's going to go through stocks. On Thursday we have Scott Pulsini going through futures, and him reading the stops and icebergs, and with his very particular method, and gaining insight from those larger players and retail traders. So thanks for coming, everybody, and we will catch up with you on Friday then. Okay, yeah, thanks, Alois. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye bye.